What's happening? Let's talk about building the index with an AR. This applies to any long gun, but this is what I've got today. This is what I've been practicing with today for my dry fire routine. So the first thing I do to build my index is I'm going to bring the rifle up to my eye, left hand only. So right here, and I'm just gonna bring it up, shoulder the rifle, left hand only. My right hand is not doing anything. You can see the fire control, I think. Yeah, you can see I'm not touching it. So I'm gonna bring it up right there, and I'm gonna do about 10 reps. So I think I'm on about 4 right now, and I'm keeping my shoulder active. So active shoulder, driving into it. So I'm just gonna do this about 10 times, and this is just a warm up. So this is gonna get me set and kind of get me reacquainted with the index and how I index and drive the rifle. So I like to point my finger at the target. It's kind of an old trap shooter thing that I picked up. My grandfather was an avid skeet and trap shooter his whole entire life, and had just a beautiful collection of just classic trap guns. And so I just grew up around it, and I grew up doing it and shooting it myself. My dad was a state champion, so just had the opportunity to just come up around that. And one of the things that learned early on was to get your hand out as far as you can on the rifle, on the foreguard, and you're just kind of just pointing where you want it to go. So that helps you. It's just another kind of index or another reference point, whatever you want to call it, to help you just kind of point in on the target. So I'm just going to mount the gun, or the rifle rather, the long gun, left hand only for a few reps, and just get that down. I'm feeling pretty good. It's driving in. I feel like maybe I was dipping my head a little bit, which I want to avoid. I want to make it so that the rifle comes up to my eye rather than dropping my head down as I bring the gun up. And now I have two things moving through space, so that's two variables. The more variables we have, the more it can go wrong, right? So I just want to have one variable, which is the movement of the rifle to the eye. That's it. I just want it to intersect my line of sight to the target, and that's it. I want to keep it as simple as possible, as few variables as possible, so that things can't go wrong. Now, I'll do anywhere from 10 to 20 of those, and then I'm going to do it with just my right hand. So I'm going to have my right hand, and I'm just going to mount the rifle. Again, my left hand is just kind of chilling, just out here, and I'm just mounting the rifle, picking targets. This is a safe environment. One, there's no ammo anywhere out here, but two, I'm pointing in on brick or block walls. So, and I'm just gonna keep doing that until I start to get fatigued. Take a little break, do it again. It's a little different with the right arm just because of the leverages, the way the rifle is out here and I'm back here on this one little point. But again, I just want to make sure that I'm bringing the rifle up to my eye and not dipping my eye down to the rifle. And then lastly, I'll finish with both hands on the rifle and just bringing it up into the line of sight, intersecting my eye to the target line. So if there's a line going from my eye straight to the target, I just want to not move. I don't want to dip or move my head at all. I want to stay locked onto that target and bring the gun up and the sights up into that line. So I'm intercepting or intersecting that line from my eye to the target and then making the hits. And then I'm gonna work on the safety. I'm not gonna press the trigger. I just wanna get used to when the sights are on, the safety's off. And when the sights are off, the safety's on. So I wanna just kind of get used to that rhythm of just mounting the rifle and working the safety. I have ambi safety, so the way I work it is kind of the standard way, thumb on that side, and then with the index finger. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but so I'm just kind of the way a lefty would, you know, the way a lefty would work the safety on a conventional rifle that doesn't have an ambi safety. So left-handed shooters usually ride their finger up here, swipe it down, you know, they'll swipe down, get on the trigger, and when they come out, they use that knuckle right there to manipulate the trigger. So kind of what I'm doing. It's just something I've just got used to doing. When I run a regular rifle with only, safety on the left side, it's easy. Same, doesn't matter. This is just a little more natural for me because I'm just used to it at this point. But yeah, so I'll mount. And then that's about it. Then I'm warmed up. And then I get into my dry fire routine, which will usually consist of moving to a point, coming up on target, a couple rounds, dry fire, of course, a couple rounds, move to another point, up on target, couple rounds. And I try to make it so that I go through with each iteration, the most common shooting positions. So some sort of standing, some sort of kneeling, and some sort of prone. I don't go prone too often, but I do like to incorporate it. So I'm gonna do some variation of those three things, and then I will also do a little bit on the opposite shoulder. So it's a little easier with the AR to do that. The only thing I have to do is close my right eye. I like to shoot both eyes open, but in order to see through the optic, I gotta close that eye. So that's about it, man. That's dry fire with the AR. Very simple, down and dirty dry fire routine. Usually takes me about 20 to 30 minutes at the most to put some time into building my index, which is the one arm at a time, right? That builds my index, and then both arms on it. Index is rock solid. Very happy with that. And then I move into some movement into and out of positions. So, and that's not to say that I'm like sprinting 50 yards or anything like that and then dropping into kneeling. It could just be a simple 2 up drill where I do 2 from here, drop down to kneeling, 2, go prone, 2, up to kneeling, 2, back up to standing, 2. One of my favorite tools to train with. So easy. It's like shooting a 22. Man, these things are just really cool. So, all right, guys, have a good one.